Edward Tappan, District 8.
Here.
Mr. Henry Doty, District B.
Here.
Mr. James Green, District C.
Here.
Mr. Harry Green, District B.
Present.
Mr. Howard Locke, District E.
Yes.
4 present, we have a quorum.
All right, we got the presentation and please, second. Start down for this day. Got a visitation. Life, health, and strength, Father God, at this meeting, according to your will. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments as they relate to item on the agenda, please.
Mayor, if I may, before we go to public comment, Rick Smith, Officer Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem members, I passed out a lease agreement. We were supposed to have this on the agenda for this meeting, but due to circumstances that we couldn't control, we weren't able to get Mr. Brown's information until earlier this morning. So I asked that the council, if you could consent to expanding the agenda to add an item to provide the mayor authority to enter into a lease agreement with Mr. Donald E. Brown in regards to leasing the Ditto building at 615 Camille Street in Bastrop. It's kind of something that was something that the mayor's been working toward for a few weeks, that kind of sped up and came to what we thought was fruition Friday. But we had hiccup again, no fault of anybody's other than just circumstances. And we weren't able to get this to you in a packet when it came out yesterday. But Mr. Brown is here if you decide to expand the agenda to consider it. He can answer any question that you have, but again, this lease is for the Ditto building on 615 Camille Street. So the members that you expand the agenda and add this item, there will be 4C. Then we ask for comments on all 3 items if the council sees fit to expand the agenda.
I'm going to expand the agenda.
For a second.
I'll second it.
At this time, we'll have public comments on should the agenda be expanded to include this item, which is the asking for the authority to enter into the contract, the lease agreement regarding 615 Camille Street, commonly known as the Ditto building, Mr. Donald Brown. Any public comments as it relates to should we or should we not add this item?
You made the who?
You can tell me if should we expand the agenda or not?
On the
On the lease for Mr. Brown.
we're not trying to get in Ditto building.
Do we not object to expanding?
I'm about something else.
Okay, excuse me, Ricky Allen Anderson, Bastrop, Louisiana. Good evening. Councilor, you're setting on a lease agreement to whom now?
Mr. Donald E. Brown. Yeah, this could expand it. Then we're gonna.
Okay,
Right, you object to expansion?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
We just on yeah.
And then once added, you can.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
I object to the expand. I'd like me to come in. I object to the expand. Charles Bradford, 1320 South Washington Street. I object to the expanding of the agenda. It has not been posted within the time period. Get a public chance to see under 24-hour notice. This is a special meeting. Only thing to be heard on the special meeting agenda has to be posted within 24 hours, which has not been posted. I object to that.
That's why it requires unanimous consent. That's why it requires unanimous consent.
Not a special meeting.
Law requires unanimous consent.
That's already been expanded. That's all. What he's saying is correct, that's why it requires.
Question, is this discussion item, or is this?
It's an action.
Say again?
Then it's an action, I give the mayor authority in the lease agreement.
will be able to, sitting on 27
Obviously, that's the request of council. There's been moved and second, so. Roll call, I guess.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carried unanimously.
All right, so we have 4C on the agenda. Okay.
So public comments, now, right? Yes, public comment
Now, I thought we got on the entire agenda.
on everything. Ms. Rose, just say-
You want my full name?
Yes, ma'am, the address too. You like.
Rose, baby sister, Rose T. McHenry Thompson, 120 Parkhurst Avenue, Bastrop, Louisiana. Say every 1 through 2. That's it.
That's it, Ms. Rose.
I see where we're not gonna go into a real discussion about the solar panel, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put my little 2 cents in and I'm gone. I object to those solar panels. I know what you all is up against. But me as a citizen and a taxpayer here, I have a problem with them coming in here and taking advantage of the citizen of this community for the last 3.5 years, and they paid not one tax to the city of Bastrop. And that is documented. Not a dollar been paid. And I'm wondering why are we still giving them the representation of giving them those occupational license, but they're not paying us no taxes. They change the name every year so that they can get those I guess freebies. And that is not right for us because we have to pay taxes. We have to pay our tax at the end of the year, but they see a loophole and they want to change that and don't pay taxes. Now, what I'm saying is true facts. And I just want to, I'm against them solar panels in the first place, especially here in the city. Now, the parish getting their taxes, but the city don't get their taxes. Now, something is wrong with that. But I don't find out some more information that I'm not at liberty right now to go into it. But I'm gonna expose that myself. Because I'm tired of people coming in here taking advantage of the city of Bastrop. And I'm gonna say this because I'm probably gonna get on somebody's nerve. When you had crooks that was in that last administration that didn't give a damn about this city. But I love my city. Thank y'all.
Ms. Rose?
You welcome.
Once again, good evening. Ricky Allen Anderson, Bastrop, Louisiana, 514 Camille Street. I expect 2 things on the agenda. Number 4. Thank you. Number 4A, Resolution 26-2125, a resolution approving the mayor to apply for 2026 LGAP funding. Can someone tell me what LGAP means?
That should be the Louisiana Government Assistance Program.
Say it again,
That's
Council.
Louisiana Government Assistance Program.
Okay. Thank you. I got understanding now. I can concur with that. Ladies and gentlemen. 4B, revoke the 2026 occupational license for any business associated with 705 Collier Lane, Bastrop, Louisiana. What business are we talking about? Because it's not stated here. It could be a dog pound over there, a fishing hole over there. What business are you all attempting to revoke your business
It
license?
was the solar panel.
Oh, so what's the name of this business?
It's 2 names.
3 names.
Okay,
Sunbeam, you got Perfect Lane, so you got a couple of names.
okay. What name is the license issued under?
Perfect Lane.
It's perfect land development. The Sunbeam, Golden Beam, or Green Data Center is the project name. The actual company
You
name,
said, say it again,
The company name is Perfect Land Development for both Sassafras and Colliers. The project name for Sassafras is Green Data Center. The Green Data Center. The project name for Colliers Wood Lane is Sunbeam Power LLC. So, but the company is Perfect Land Development.
Okay. So from understanding on the, license is landing, am I correct, counsel?
Perfect Land Development.
Okay.
On occupation license.
All right, thank you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been going on for a while. Since it started across the street from us. From the very beginning, it's been chaos from the last administration. Up under this board, knowledge. You didn't know anything about it. Another thing. Well, it's up to you, Mr. Doty. I spoke to my council member, Mr. Locke, about this same old very issue yesterday. We must be responsible for our action. That falls with the city when the license was first given in the last administration. And I believe it was given unfaithful. And that's why we're here today, to revoke these licenses, because I believe it was done unfaithful. And you're changing names to another name to another name. I can concur with Ms. Thompson said. We should have taken this thing head on from the very beginning, from the last administration. The mayor, sorry, Mr. Mayor, you inherit this trouble. Correct it, sir. This board, you're a legislative body. Correct it. If some heads got to roll, let it roll. If you have to dismiss some people, dismiss these people. Because Bastrop is under a spotlight on a lot of unnecessary foolishness. Let's govern ourselves professionally. Let's get on the right track and do the right thing. I know there's a circumstance that occurred just recently. I'm not gonna get into that because I have not seen the legal light picture. But if you're gonna vote tonight to revoke these licenses,
We've been stopped. We can't do that.
well, there's nothing else I can say, ladies and gentlemen. But yet again, when you get the opportunity to do this, have mercy, revoke these licenses.
We cannot.
I said, when you get an opportunity, because it's going through litigation. This city got to fight this. Let's make some heads roll here now. Good evening.
Charles Bradford, 1320 South Washington Street. I can make a comment on number 4B, revoking of the occupation license. Since Saturday, you say we not gonna hear anything?
We cannot. We were issued this when we walked in. It's an injunction. So we cannot revoke the license as planned.
Oh, okay, I'll be jumping up.
It's an injunction.
Okay, wow. Yeah, the injunction. Well, I recommend to the mayor, injunction is a legal procedure. Let me go forward. The injunction is a legal procedure. There have been a legal proceeding filed against the city of Bastrop, injunction. With that in mind, Mayor Moore, Councilman Reed. Okay, with that in mind, with that in mind, there's been a legal proceeding filed in the city of Bastrop. With that in mind, in fact, you cannot discuss this tonight. I recommend that this council and mayor retain outside counsel. I think the mayor spoke of that last month concerning, based on some situation there. I think it's at a point where we cannot depend on our current council that we have here. Okay, because you all are getting served at the last moment with legal paper when you should. You're getting served with legal papers now, and they're serving our mayor, serving our council with these legal papers. I think, you know, you're not gonna just, make a move tonight. You need to go ahead, table, hire outside counsel, remove the current Mr. Jones, he can be moved from this issue, as well as Mr. Smith, because they're gonna become policy issues, and he's over policies and proceedings, and Mr. Jones is the current mayor. You're not gonna get a fair shake.
Ain't no mayor.
Attorney, that's what he acted as, member of town. Well, excuse me, not he, mayor, correctly. But what I'm saying is, I recommend, this is my comment, because I was on the previous council. I have some insight how this all generated and how it started. And now that you have a legal proceeding going, you need to have outside counsel. Outside counsel. Or Mr. Pierre, Mr. Pierre, or outside counsel that I would recommend, now that you've been fired, they have actually took you into the court. Mr. Mitchell said last month, that don't worry about it, no court proceeding, you know, because you don't want to get into call money. Well, now, you got to respond to that injunction. And I would depend on my local council, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones needs to be terminated from the city government in October. Okay, because Mr. Jones was a part of the original receiving of all this life and all the missing documents and threads and all that stuff. All that stuff is going on in the city of Bastrop right now. I refuse Mr. Jones, but he was part of it. Okay, and Mr. Rickman for over policy, there have been a policy change, how they receive the current occupation license that they're asking you to do an injunction on. Mr. Excuse me, the policies have been changed all to go around the city council current policies that you have in place. And I really appreciate this, protect the city, the citizen of Bastrop, the newly elected mayor. I think you all need to be put on unreal protection. Same from my heart. I ain't trying to, under protection of the citizens. You want to be elected by the citizens, be protected of the citizens. Because right now, we've been in the general, we are afraid to incur legal expenses. I know the mayor said last month, we're looking at the gym. It's too late now. They took action on it. Our attorney was able to keep them off. Mr. Jones was able to keep them from filing an injunction, as well as Mr. Smith. Now you are in the league. That's a fourth district court that filing now? Fourth district court. Okay. I think I think you may have 10, 50 days, maybe 10 days to respond to the injunction. I'm not sure. Don't stick that to me. But okay. But right now, at this time, table it, and go into the closed section by yourself and think about how outside representation. If you have to move Mr. Jones and Mr. Smith, you got $100,000 to fight with. Well, they about halfway through the year right now. You may have $50,000 to fight with. You know, if you get your outside person. You're gonna get an outside person. But the solar panel people, they for real. I want to share this with you. Can I have 1 minute? Can I get a vote for 1 minute? I'm sitting down. I'll take a vote.
I'll give a minute too.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the solar, thank you, the solar panel people are real. Are you aware, Councilman? Everybody knew something, everybody knew something, Mr. Dolan. Once we put that stop and cease order there, they have never stopped. They have solar panels coming from the back side, the north side, the east side, all the way up halfway. Basically 1/3 or 2/3 through with their project. They totally disrespect the citizen's request, and it's time to stop. We're a small town, but we got big heart. We can fight. McKinney, Texas, they got money all over the country, but we need to fight them because they came in illegal. I think we got them coming in illegal, undermine, conspiracy, document spread, and all that's in play right now. Okay, and it's gonna continue. But Mr. Jones needs to go along with Mr. Smith. They have no involvement with this particular project, what's going on right now. Thank you.
I want to make a motion to suspend Robert Rules of Order.
I'll second it. Aye.
I suspended Robert Rules of Order, so this is a very important issue.
So therefore, public comments, you won't be out of order when you want to come back up and speak, when we get in our deliberation about this, about what's going to occur within our packages. Because based on where Robert Rules of Order are, based on our procedures, usually when you're making public comments, you know, you usually don't get a chance to speak again, but we want everybody to get a chance to speak when we get down to that particular issue.
Anybody else?
Mr. Whitmore?
No, he said. Oh, it's in the vote.
Willie Whitmore, 1013 Hood Street, Bastrop, Louisiana. If you check the record, I am still a very active voter here in the city. You know, it's amazing to me that at the last moment, the city gets an injunction not to vote on that issue. This solar panel issue has been going on for a while now. We've got people coming in here changing names of businesses. We've got people signing documents that they say they did not sign. And now these people who have people that have invested in this solar panel company, let me tell you, these people have money. That's why they are trying to fight the city of Bastrop to put those solar panels over on that old mill site. I would make a suggestion to the mayor and the city council of Bastrop, Louisiana. Get your ducks in order. Take these people to court, because there will be a complaint filed with the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana. Our platform will file that complaint first thing tomorrow morning. So I'm putting you on notice of that. It's not right for people to come in this city and try to bully our mayor and our city council. And what's so bad about it, they're taking advantage of the people that live right here in the city of Bastrop, Louisiana. Now, the ball is in your court. Don't be intimidated by any attorney, be it their attorney or a city attorney, to not do the job that you were voted on to do. Thank you.
All right, we'll move to A 26-2125, resolution approving the mayor apply for the 2026 LGAP funding. Can I get a,
Mayor, can you think,
in your, bypass that wasn't any pay? This is an estimate, for Dawson Park. I'm applying for this grant, this every year deal thing. Trying to get the air, you know, our units are out, State Representative Fisher and Senator Katrina Jackson Andrews will get this also. They trying to get us 2 big units of 20 tons. But as of right now, I want to ask y'all for this because I want to have this in play. These air units like this in the gym, and it'll be hooked up to eventually they'll be hooked up to a generator. Like we just had ice on in case the lights go off, the big units will not work, but it'll kick in those units like that. So our kids can won't go without, or the community go without. We're just improving there, and then we also eventually next year I apply for the same thing for the municipal center, backup generator. Free man. What's applying for it?
Okay, quick question. Is this, I see the amount on there, 23,900. Is this something that's going to be coming from a grant that we're expecting, or is this something that's going to come from the general fund first?
We have to come get a resolution tonight. We actually right now to approve this resolution so I can apply for it. This is a LGAP grant.
Right.
For community, that money, if funded,
this is what I do with.
So I'm sorry, okay, one of the backup questions. If the grant is not, it becomes not in play, then what do we do?
I will ask our senator and state representative for it also.
There's multitudes of ways you can get it. LGAP is limited in funding amount based on your population. It's a legislative, grant that we do each year. If you exceed the amount that you request, then you get put in what's called, capital outlay. So I believe the threshold for us is $50,000. There's parts to this grant that's required, one of which is a resolution authorizing us to apply for funds. And then you do the proposal and you have 2 letters of recommendation from your legislators who are of your district. And, so this is the necessary avenue. We'll find out probably sometime after June, whenever they pass all the bills and the funding bills, where we fall out in LGAP, if it was approved, if it was not approved. Other than that, it doesn't require us to expend anything upfront. We just have to, part of the package is you have to upload a resolution. That resolution that we're authorized to apply for. We've applied for it most years and received something of it. You sometimes receive it, sometimes you don't.
And I also got another estimate. This was the generator and this. I thought it was like 30,000, but it just said 50,000. I think I can get it up under that. I might do the generator and this. Just trying to enhance Dawson Park for our kids and community.
Who made the motion?
Good discussion. Everybody get that? All in favor? Any opposed?
Mayor, I have a comment. I think I asked sometimes last year when we vote, I do want a written record of our signatures.
Do we need to expand the agenda, make a
Yeah,
motion?
it's on there.
So we decide, I pass it.
Yeah, that's why it's 6 and a half to right. I put on there different than before because there was some debate about where it was. So you sign your name and you circle the approved or disapproved.
So where's the copy that'll go
So Roy should have
to
a
each
copy.
person?
And this would be, it'll be just like it's going forward.
Yeah, everything I had going forward, I didn't have. But
Well, I think what we could do, to do it all at the same time, ask for a roll call and just pass it. So
That's what we used to do.
it's just.
So yeah, that's what I thought would be clean and easy.
Somehow it was removed, but that's how we normally used to do it. And then later, we'll look at some of the resolution, we'll see where our names come, because my name range is unique.
I always wrote in the record based on the minutes of what it was that night, because it's not required to be there, but when y'all asked to put it back, I went back to that system, so you could also circle the approved, disapproved that reflects it. So that there was some comment about, hey, you put name whatever, I didn't put whatever, so in order for it to be transparent, it allows you to just put your name, and then you circle confirming your vote. That was just to be clear.
Roll call is.
In that way, if anybody said, hey, I meant to sign underneath no, and I signed underneath yea, because there was 2 columns, it would.
What happened with the column that if somebody abstained from voting?
If somebody's signature's not there, then they're the same.
Which would be voice recorded doing a roll call. So if you don't sign and you say abstain on record, if they see that as an act to the tape, it says, no, you abstained, you didn't sign.
But that way I made it clear for y'all, so you don't actually go in a yea or nay, you just get you circle the, put your vote, so that you know what it is. That way y'all have the record. I thought it was just a little bit better than the previous time where we just said yea, nay, abstain. And there was not a lot of versions, a lot of times right to do it. People praying, maybe, someone.
Mr. Chairman?
But yeah, every resolution coming forward will look like that.
The official minutes record, will still reflect.
Correct.
That as well too.
Correct. The record reflects that it controls other instruments. I mean, there was some more I didn't vote for, and you have to go back to the record, you have to go back to the thing and see if it can vote.
For the record, this is nothing new. We always have done it this way, and we got away from it from some kind of way. And I think this is the proper way of doing things, because you actually got the signature versus the attorney, the mayor, or anybody writing your name in.
Well, I can tell you why we got away from it, is because at one point, somebody voted in the meeting to yes, and then later on, we didn't have all the signatures, and they came in and wanted to sign under no, and have us correct that they actually voted no. And the things reflected, so we had a document where they hadn't signed it that night, how we usually pass it around, something happened that night, they didn't sign it that night. And they came back and later said, no, I want to change the record, and say I voted no, I voted yes on that instead of no.
And I will make
So
one,
it was this whole thing, so technically, under the law, resolutions don't have to have signatures on by anybody. You go by what the minutes say, and what the actual record says, you don't go by the signatures on it, because you could technically vote one way, and then when it comes around to be signed, right, you did it a different way, she's certifying that that represented the voice vote that night, and then it would be her certification that was the voice vote that's not. So it actually could put you, and that was the situation that occurred there, was that individual wanted to sign and say they voted differently than the voice vote.
and, I was gonna make two other suggestions. And Madam Pro Tem, I'm only putting you on the spot, because you Pro Tem, is that on these resolutions, where there's a date, if you would sign after the vote, with the last person pass it back to you, you circle pass and put the date and sign. In this instance, Mr. Locke is absent. I would suggest that you print his name, absent, sign the date on it. So that way, if someone just got the public records, they'll know, okay, Mr. Locke is saying, they check the minutes and that, so.
Now, appropriate. Usually if something like that came back, I would put absent. That way it's, that way it's reflected. But that's initially why.
Sometimes, not on anything, always.
Right, always not accurate.
They're not accurate.
Yeah, you have to have the voice record in, and it creates an issue, but that's how we got to that point where they were all this week had several issues.
If my memory recalls right, you know, you say that minutes are snapshot.
Right. Yeah.
Not actual transcribed, so he's doing snapshots, so I think it's best to sign, because I've looked at the minutes and, yeah, right, it's more efficient.
It's just when you, I'm not saying it's ever happened with this board, but when you have somebody who voiced one way and signed another way.
A quick question. Signing this document, which again is something new to me. What ordinance, are we going under, to do this, or state law, or whatever is a reference?
There is-
To this particular action.
There is no state law that requires a resolution to be signed. Once voted by the council, it's effective. It doesn't have to be signed by the mayor, because the mayor has no veto power. It's active once voted by the council. This was just historically done prior to here coming here. They had 2-3 columns. They had yea, nay, and abstain or absent, whichever it was. They would frequently give them, they'd get a little binder book, they give them, there's usually 3 copies of it. We go pass them around.
You get balloons, you gotta go through the council too to get balloons?
So you had to, and eventually at some point there was a voice vote over a resolution. And that voice vote, later on, there was an individual who had not signed it that night. It was realized afterwards, they called that individual to come sign it. And that person decided that they want to sign underneath the vote that was not underneath the vote that night. And so that's where, whenever I was asked, yes, under the law, you don't have to have signatures on the voice vote counts. That's what counts. Well, we removed it to keep that issue from occurring. Now we're going back to that per the request of the council, and that's what we're going back to. Those are council's wish and wills is to go back to that, so we've gone back to it. We just went back to it in a different form.
It's just establishing a custom and a best practice, that to me, like I said, that's more of an official record, especially talking about getting a public records request on certain things. You don't need anything else, because you can see exactly who signed, who the vote was, who was absent, who was present, and when it was passed. So it's just a best practice and custom that's this board is going to establish moving forward.
about 2 meetings ago, they asked, the council asked about that, and told me the resolution comes, I'll have it on the board.
All right, we'll move to B. We go to, you done? We go to B, revoke the 2026 occupation license of any business associated with 705 College Lane, Montgomery, Louisiana.
I would notify the council that at approximately 3 p.m., it looks like 2:17 p.m., a suit was filed for temporary restraining order to, temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction to keep this occupational license from being revoked. It was filed in the Mohawk District Court. It was Parking Land Development versus City of Bastrop. At this point, it is pending litigation. I would make that since it's pending litigation, we can do executive session to discuss what is come from here to there and how it's going forward. And I would ask that if you want to discuss pending litigation, we more than likely to do that in executive session. Because
Councilman, DJ?
Again, I just want to know, can you tell me who filed the injunction,
Parking Land Development filed for the injunction.
the representation?
Yeah, their attorney was getting it, so it's on the pleading.
Yeah, this, I'm trying to go through the same guy with your last.
Right, it represents them.
So, just for curiosity, is this normal how the process goes when the city revoke occupation license, do they contact that entity?
So what they do is on a temporary, for a petition for an injunction and a restraining order, temporary restraining order forces you to have an injunction hearing. You have to have a hearing within 72 hours on a temporary restraining order. They try to do it as quick as possible based on emergency circumstances.
No, I get what you're saying, but the reason I'm asking because as we look like the agenda was posted at 6 p.m. right? So, in order for, that's why I was asking, so once the administration identified that they want to revoke the license, did they contact Parkland Land Development and say, hey, we don't have a search call me?
No, if you read the petition, they actually had an employee, they said saw it at 7 p.m.
Last night.
Last night, they filed it today.
So what time did we find out about this injunction?
Approximately 3 o'clock.
And the reason I was asking because if you guys notify them, if you notify them, do you also notify this body that this is being taking place? Because, I wasn't aware.
I wasn't either.
No, this thing actually, and I can explain more to tell you how quickly everything's evolved, has moved. It's moved on a very fast track. In fact, I didn't even realize it was 5:30.
Because you said that an employee came by and said,
Yeah,
right?
if you read the-
No, I'm saying, this is what it said, but the reason I'm asking, what made that particular day, like, because it wasn't, it only advertised yesterday, 16. So I was saying what made, I'm just asking just curiosity.
I have no idea.
What was that question again, Mr. Davies?
I was asking, in this injunction, it said that an employee came by here at 7 p.m. last night. When the notice was posted on the door at 6:10, City Hall closed at 4:30, or something, 5. So it's just curious to know why would somebody arrive out here at 12, but they just look at City Hall door. That's kind of, because that's why I asked you, was they notified, because then we wasn't notified, so. Would we be talking transparency to them as a council?
I'm 4 hours into getting this.
I have a
See,
question.
That's why, and look, we can do it in open session, we do it in executive session, I just need to know what we're council.
Because, you know what, no, I'm gonna do it, because with this solar situation, it just seemed like so much, and it just seemed like so much underlying, misinformed, and I'm trying to stay in my seat. So we always look for transparency. We also always look for someone being honest with us. And it, from my perspective, it just seemed like it's dropped the ball and dropped somewhere.
Then drop the ball with her.
Yeah, so if we can do it in open session, if that's the will of the council, I can do it in open session.
Yeah, I'm with you in the spirit of transparency. And I'll say this for the record, we made our wishes known last year. We didn't want any further activity. And Devin, we did, we asked you what was gonna stop them from doing any further activity. We thought the moratorium was gonna do it. So, you know, I represent District 8, but I love every district here in Bastrop. And that is what we told people. We told people we had, created a moratorium that would stop any further solar farm, activity. Like I told them, the ones on the side of the city hall, we cannot do anything about because it's already, construction has already started. So now we are looking really bad to our constituents and to the citizens of Bastrop because everything we said is not true now. It's totally changed. So now as elected officials that is trying to do the best for our city, we're not looking like that. We're getting hammered in the community about these solar panels. First of all, they don't think we know what we're talking about. It's leading to mistrust. And I do not ever want to be in a seat and telling my people one thing and something else is happening, and I don't know anything about it. Just like this occupational license. I would like to know what signature, who signed this occupational license. Nate, I don't know if you can answer that.
Is my,
So here's my.
I don't sign occupation
Here's
license.
my.
Hold up, Council. I do not sign occupation license when there was offer, when they got the occupation license way before I came aboard. Anytime you get an occupational license, it automatically renew, it comes in there, you pay by that. So I would have no knowledge for myself. On any solar panel papers, Mark A. Morrissey do not have a signature on anything. I said one time I was gonna be transparent with this council. I have kept my word, and my word is my bond on y'all up here. I don't know nothing about what's going on. Y'all was here before I was, so I mean. So I understand.
If I can address, if I could go in my turn, originally it's both occupation license, occupation license is paying.
This happened. Let me address this. That night when we passed the moratorium, that is the same moratorium that existed in Washita Parish. Monroe, Louisiana does not have a moratorium. In fact, they own a solar farm.
Inside the city limits?
Yes, they do. Here's where I'm going with this. That night, if you were to play the videos, I've watched that. I explained specifically. There was three things I told you. I said, hey, anything that happened before we introduced it, we can't go back on. That's why we're going to play that. So before we introduced it, from the time we introduced it to the time we adopted it, that was the gray area. Depends on if they had noticed. From the time we adopted it all, that right there's no more solar farm permits to be issued or anything like that. Very clear that we all accepted if there was a permit issued prior to us introducing, that's in the area that we couldn't do anything. At that time, now let me bring it forward, so we had a lot of going on there. Well, I said, hey, there's three areas, I'm being very clear. This whole thing that they had, this license permit they had, this zoning thing, came from January the 27th of 2025. When the board voted, that special use permit, that's the one they're using. That's the one they have. I've gone through and done a timeline on everything.
But at any time, we don't have to issue an occupational license.
Yes, you do.
Why?
Because the standard issue occupational licenses, are they a business? And did they fill out the application? It's in your section 13. Did they fill out, and the tax collector is the one who issues it. Did they fill out an application and did they have a sales tax?
Now, there's three things where you have a business. There is occupational, that means that you can transact business. There is zoning, can you do that with land? And then there's an occupancy permit, okay? That's where, did your building meet the fire code? How many people can you have in it? What can you do with it, okay? Occupational license is just a registered business for sales tax purposes. It does not authorize you to perform any activity on that land or wherever. If you get an occupational license in the wrong place, the wrong zoning, that's on you. If you actually look, the reason why they had this zoning permit from January 27th, 2025. That was before the introduction of our solar farm moratorium. It's not even the gray area. It's before the introduction. When they tried to do the name change to the project name, not the actual company, the project name change. The company stayed the same, Perfect Land Development. When they tried to do the project name change from Sunbeam to Golden Beach, that never got anything done, okay? They ran off January 27th, 2025, voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission, which is the very thing that caused us to discover all this stuff. That, hey, Planning and Zoning had all this power we didn't realize they had. And so what happened is when I delineated out those three areas, I remember the specific question was asked to me. At that time, we didn't have files. I was working on ballot information that I was told not stuff we could access. Now that we have access to it, I remember being asked that night, 705 callers, is that going to be stopped? I said, it depends on the date they were issued. Because we were working on, are they going to get a license? Because the name change, the project name change license was to go after our adoption. We adopted it before. When you get into when we finally got the records in the file and we could see stuff, which took us a long time to piece together, the reality is that they had a January 27th, 2025 zoning permit that was voted on properly. Now, was there a public hearing? Don't really know, but that does not run to us as a violation. That runs to somebody in the public, could have had 14 days to go after it. They could have complained after 14 days, but not the city, because it was our planning and zoning who didn't do it right. We couldn't go sue our planning and zoning. That lapse in if there was an actual public hearing runs to the public for 14 days to say, hey, there was no public hearing. There should have been a public hearing. We want to stop this. As far as an occupational license goes, the only standard for an occupational license, which is what I put in that memo that I issued out, which is how to revoke it, the due process of how to do it. The only thing to get an occupational license is, did they fill out the application? Did they have the sales tax? Did they go to the sales tax person? That's the process. They go down to Ms. Teresa Holmes, who's our tax collector. She goes down there. She hands them the application. They go to the Morehouse Parish Sales Tax Commission. They get it filled out. Now, historically, they used to go to the fire. And even I talked with the chief on it. I talked to Mr. DeShays. I talked to the chief about Mr. DeShays. He said, frequently we would look at things and say, hey, that's not going to get you an occupancy certificate, which is, can you be in this building and set up the code? We're letting you know that, hey, we're going to sign off on this, but we're not approving your building for occupancy. We even discussed that. He said, I knew that, like, we had to send a letter because we didn't want them to think that they're going to pass occupancy check because the building's not up to code. So we gave a letter with it. Why we were on there, we didn't know, because I'm not going to sign off and say you can occupy this building because it's not the code. But as far as occupational license, I don't know what we're doing here. Same thing with code. Why code was on there was out of, as Mr. Smith said, it was a courtesy from basically the city that, hey, you're not in the right zone area. Why are you paying us money for an occupational license in the wrong area? These people pushed, and they do. They met the standard. The only standard is they're a business. And in fact, to give you that, they actually applied for 2 occupational licenses at the same time on March of 2025. They applied for Perfect Land Development, applied for one for Sassafras on March 14, 2025. They received their occupational license that day. They applied for the Perfect Land Development, applied for the occupational license showing the Colliers Lane address. And on that date, March 14th of 25,
on March 18th of 25, there was a letter sent to him that said, hey, your zoning application from the 27th was approved of January. On the 19th of March, the zoning person signed it and said, yes, this was approved January 27th. Not they were approved the 19th, they were approved the 27th underneath that previous one. As far as the name change, it never made it anywhere, because by that time we had gotten this, the actual, to bring it full term, I even got to the emails in April of 2022, to bring it that far back, how far this is. There was a company called Wattle. They applied for the Sassafras location for a data center and solar farm. In May of 22, it was voted by the planning and zoning to do that. In December of 22, they inquired about whether they approved. They were told they were approved through email. They sold that company to Perfect Land Development, who then asked for a zoning permit in February of 23. In March of 23, that permit was approved for the data center and solar. That brought us to no activity on Collier's until December of 24, when they asked for a zoning application for the solar farm. It was voted January 27th. That was approved, and then they came in with a project name change in March. Nothing's ever been done on that. The occupational license was applied for both spots in March 14th of 2025. One was signed and given by the city. The other one was signed off on by code. The fire sent a letter and said, I'm gonna sign it, but your building is not up to spec.
Is there a way we can get the, moratorium in our hands to see it?
Yeah.
Like, it's possible we can get it tonight.
Yeah, he's got a copy of it.
Okay, then two, I know last meeting, I was ready that they told us that they was going on the first name they applied for, which was Sunbeam.
They are headed on it. They're gonna use the project name Sunday.
But the occupation like they got it for personal land.
It's a Sunbeam as a subsidiary company of that.
It's not on file.
It's a third part.
Oh, so
Not
you
on
go.
file.
And so was Golden Beach.
They're all subsidiaries. If, I don't know their business model, but I would suspect that their business model is that here's what I do know, is that ultimately at the end of the day, they are the people who develop it, and then the investors own it. So that Perfect Land Development is going to be a company that develops it, and then the other company is going to be subsidiary. So they call them my projects.
So let me ask you a question. So you saying the vendor, they got to go back to the first name, which was Sunbeam.
Yes.
This is what you say, right?
Yeah, that's what they told us here. They were going on the project.
This is what you said, if they go back to that name, you say it's legit because it's for the moratorium.
It was before the moratorium was even introduced.
So how are they implementing the Perfect Land Development?
Because Perfect Land Development is on that. That is the company that, the project name was,
But the application was before.
no, the application was Sunbeam was the project. I can show it to you. Perfect Land Development. Yeah, correct. So at the top on the application for zoning, it says, on the application for zoning, it says project name. They put Sunbeam Power or Sunbeam, however they did it. And then at the bottom, it has down there the Perfect Land Development information as the company of the owner.
Who sent that document?
One of them.
So Perfect Land Development has had an occupational license since March 14th of 2025. Perfect Land Development's had an occupational license since March 14th of 2025.
So listen, so they had an operation on the street. So why apply for a building?
They applied for the new location, and they applied for it at the same time.
But so you saying, so is the location saying, but the name saying, you gotta apply for operation license again?
They applied on March 14th of 2025. They applied for both locations under the Perfect Land Development. And so they applied for both. The one that was for Sassafras was approved that day. The one one for Colliers, it looks like they had never been notified that they've been approved for the zoning. So on March 18th, they were sent a letter for zoning, from zoning. I'm just looking at what's in the record.
But I get that, but the last meeting, and say, if they use Sunday, we heard nothing about personal land development.
So something, that's what they do.
Did you find out later, or did you know prior to the meeting?
Which one?
Personal land development.
Perfect land development has always been there. I didn't know, I don't review the occupational licenses. That's the issue.
I get that. I get you said personal land development been there. So what I'm asking is, when they was in here, you said that, well, if they go back to Sunbeam, why wasn't personal land development mentioned then?
Because perfect land development has always existed. In fact, they had an occupational renewal, just it was not for that location. It wasn't for that location. I didn't know until that night which one they were.
It's not for that location, because it's got McKinley, Texas, where I guess it's got location.
Yeah. So I didn't know until that night when they stepped up here which one they were proceeding with, because that was one of the big issues is are they trying to proceed on these golden beams, which clearly has not been voted by planning and zoning, which would put it in that.
But you just said golden beam follows on the personal land development, so they could have, they didn't have to mention golden beam or Sunbeam.
Well,
they could just mention personal land development, according to what you said.
correct. It inured to, it gave us the benefit that if they were going to proceed and change the project name, then they were conceding that they weren't approved. Okay.
Okay, so now, okay, I'm trying to follow. So you saying back in January, they was approved on Sunday?
With perfect land development being the owner.
So, okay, so why are we here? Because then they come back and do a name change for Golden, it's still you saying that it fall on the perfect land development?
Because if they filled out a new one, then they were conceding that they didn't have a permit for the land. Okay?
But, point of information. Finish up, please.
They were, so if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need a new zoning permit, okay? And it's just even a name change, they're conceding to you they don't have a permit for that, correct?
Say it again.
If they come to you and say, hey, we're doing a name change, so we know we don't have a permit for this project because of this name.
Okay, so no, but let's do it in reality. So just say they came to us with Sunbeam, right?
Yes.
And then they said they want to do a name change to Golden, right? But now you saying it really don't matter because they don't listen on problem. You just said because they applied the first time on Sunbeam, correct?
It matters, it would matter for zoning issues, occupational license, it doesn't matter.
We talking about zoning issue.
Zoning issue would matter.
So, okay, so now who are they going forward with? Is it
Sunbeam. Sunbeam owned by Perfect Land Development is what they're going with. So that project is approved by planning and zoning.
I got a point of information, because I understand your frustration, Mr. Green, Councilman Green. And I'm listening closely, intently, trying to be calm, because I don't want to. But this is outlandish. Dishonesty. And when you look at documents, it's two different things that play right here. You got one that's gonna operate it, and that development company is the one that's on the land that's developing it. So how can the developer get an occupational license when the other person is gonna operate it? Now, you just said, I'm listening intently to what you said. One of them developed the land, am I right? Oh, am I right? Am I right?
Right.
One of them developed the land and the other one operates. So either the developer is gonna get the license,
Well,
I didn't interrupt no one. Let me finish. Are the people that's gonna run the facility. Now, my thing about this, you talk about occupational license. You said to run a business. How can you give an occupational license to somebody that's got the land? What business is it? The business is the solar panel, which is gonna be ran by Sunbeam. Hold on, let me finish, and you know, one person can own different entities that mean different things. One can be a developer, just like Elon Musk. He's got what, Tesla? He's got the thing you dig on the ground, whatever you call it, and then he's got space thing. So it's one person with 3 different companies. So when you look at these companies right here, I call them companies that's owned by one person. One of them is a developer, and the other one is going to occupy and it's going to do all the solar panels. They're going to be the operators of the solar panel, the investors. So now, how can we give an occupational license to the developer? Now, what's going to happen with the person that's running it? What kind of license are they going to get?
So here's your answer to that. I'll be honest with you, why they have an occupational license when they're not gonna be providing sales tax or anything, for the life of me, I can't get, because it frequently happens. And in fact, when they build stuff, the company who builds it then sells it to the.
Stop right there.
Sells it to the.
Stop right there, Mr. Jones. Follow the money.
Yeah.
This is about money. I'm saying, say it again.
So what happens is, and this is what, and I can explain it to you, because this is what happened with the solar farm. So, yes, it was Energy's product, but a company came in and built it. It was theirs, and when they were done, they handed it to Energy, and now it's in Energy's name. So this is, I imagine the project name has to deal with the end company that's probably going to own it. They will eventually have an occupational license too. Why Perfect Land Development needed an occupational license to build something, I have no clue.
That's another point of attention on why it's point of inflation on that. And let's go back to, hold up, I'm finished with my question, sir. They talk about how much taxes we was gonna get, how much they was gonna pay. I heard council members say $1.4 million. Well, I'm looking at taxes that they paid. It ain't even $4,000. Yeah, hold on, let me finish. I mean, I'm looking at numbers. I understand what you're saying. I'm looking at this Perfect Land Development, $3,355. Now, back to my thing. That's another. I'm jumping around. I'm trying to go slow, walk it slow, so everybody knows. Because right now, everything's going over everybody's head. It's 2 different things being misconflated. Everything's running together. And these occupation licenses. I love you, man. Nothing against.
For me.
No.
You see something?
Let me finish. I'm just saying. I'm going by these dates. And when the previous mayor was here, God knows I let her have it all the time by trying to put some of this Mr. Cotton. That's just the way we roll. We're going to be open and transparent. Now, you can make me lose my thing. Just right talking. I'm going. Hold it, Mr. Jones. You just hold it. Let me finish, so you don't break my train of thought. That's what I do. Okay, these occupational license. I'm reading this email to Mr. Trisha Holmes. Now, I know what the word change means. It says occupational license procedure. I know what procedure means also. It says changes. Now, I want to ask both y'all attorneys, these occupational licenses, we used to, I heard you say legally. Let me finish my assessment. The word change means that you're going to do something different from what you used to do. Right. And I'm talking about past practices. We all go by past practices. What we've been doing, even when Mr. Pierre, you, the other attorney, what's his name? Richard, way before him. I'm going way back to Mr. Doug Lawrence. Mr. Doug Lawrence. Now, when before we had zoning and code enforcement, it was different. But when we got zoning, code enforcement, they did that because of a place they call JG's and Woods Lounge, a long time ago. They want to stop putting these clubs in residential areas. That's why we got zoning. That's just bring people up to speed. That was in 2000. And then it came off, let me finish, 2011. So what's puzzling to me and what's perplexing is that we did zoning to make sure that people people wouldn't put stuff in places that nobody wanted. Brings me up to these occupational license. You used to have to go to, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Williams and Ms. Holmes. The point of code enforcement is that you go and see, code enforcement looks at his map and he determines whether you fit the qualifications for that establishment. And then once you meet those criteria, you go to Mr. Williams. And then you go down, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I've been doing it all wrong when I was code enforcement. Forgive me if I was doing it wrong. And you go up and you get it signed by Ms. Holmes. Now, it says changing the procedure come from Dennis Jones, Attorney Jones, told Ms. Teresa Holmes that we changing the procedure. So change means we're gonna do something. But what I need to know, and you read the statute about occupational license at the last meeting, what the state requires. But I need to know what law that contradicts what the city, because it says city of Bastrop, occupational license come from the city of Bastrop. Oh, no, I know what you finna read. I know what statute you finna read. That's what I'm trying to ask you. Can you tell me in that statute, what prohibit a city from implementing their own rules and regulations? Hold up. What statute, I see what you're gonna read, it's just an outline telling you what's about occupational license. I'm saying what statute does it says in there that prevent the city of Bastrop from instilling their own procedures, like going through code enforcement first and then going to the fire chief? What statute that prohibits the city of Bastrop from instilling their own guidelines? I know what you're gonna read, I seen what you read, but I asked you what statute.
You wanna know what statute?
You're an attorney, I'm asking, I'm not an attorney, I just wanna know.
Well, you seem to be trying to play it, well, so let me tell you.
No, because I know I'm being played.
If you're being played, then you didn't read the law. So 13.
Because we rely on you for the law.
That's what I did. I gave you the law, and I gave the law of your own city that says 13A says that whenever you issue.
I asked you a question, sir. I said, can you tell me the statute to try to get off funny? I didn't ask you for be sarcastic. I asked you politely. I said, can you please read the statute? I know what you read now. I said, could you please read the state statute that says that we cannot add our own guidelines? That's all I asked you, Mr. Jones. And I didn't ask for no sarcasm.
Here it is, I'll read it to you. How you do it? I got it right here. What's the first? What you want to find the small? You 13A is your code of ordinance. It says an occupational license is
13 what?
required, okay? Here's where you go.
Okay, you want to speak up?
Underneath the 13.5, payment of license taxes is where the grant issues it. It says the tax collector shall issue to a person making payments a license certificate showing such payment. The only requirement is that you have that. That's your own ordinances. If you have an ordinance to the contrary of that, your state law is a general law. So here's how state laws work. When it's a general law like occupational stuff, the general laws in the state of Louisiana control over your charter and they control over anything else. And so that's why you have in your occupational section, which is section 13 of your code of ordinance, we adopted the state law. That's why I cited the state law. But even further, your own ordinance says that in order for that license to be issued, that the tax collector, and that's why Tricia signs it, shall issue to the person making the payments a license certificate showing the payment. as long as they pay for the license.
Let me finish, Mr. D, Councilman Green, because you know, we was having a good dialogue, and you the attorney, and you just read me the state law. You've been an attorney for this 2 years, and then you was attorney for 2 years under administration. So you mean to tell me that we've been doing it wrong
I've never
for
had,
4 years?
I've never had to look.
No, I didn't ask you, Mr. Jones, I said because you. I'm saying, so
If
we.
you denied somebody because code said that you should deny somebody, yes.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the procedure. I just read the word procedure. I'm saying, so we've been doing the procedure wrong for, 80 years.
You did it as a courtesy, but yes, if you denied somebody because fire or code would not sign off and they were there to pay it and they had a sales tax account, yes, you were wrong.
Oh, wow.
And you knew
And
that?
these are the first people who pushed it.
And you do that, Councilman?
Oh, wow.
So yes,
So yes, you knew?
Oh, wow.
Hey, on, y'all come in since, and y'all got the,
and that's why you see the fire, Mr. DeShay, sent a letter to him and said, hey, look, your building's not.
Looking at me, I ain't the only one talking, sir.
But I'm gonna sign off on this. That's why, it's because
Y'all directly came toward me. I'm not the, they
It was
talking,
two- it
I'm
was
not
two,
the only one
it
talking.
was, excuse me, hey, it was two talking.
I'm not the, but he came looking at me. No, your eyes was on me. Your eyes was on me. Move.
I didn't say nothing. He's talking about.
Because I wasn't the only one
Don't
talking.
put Terry in
Your eyes was
nothing.
locked on me.
Don't put me in it. It wasn't me. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I didn't say number one. But put Terry, you.
Cause I wasn't the only one
talking.
talking. Move me, sir.
I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out.
Move me.
You gave me one. Okay. You gave me one.
No, his eyes was locked on me.
You gave me one.
You got a problem with me? Well, it seems like
I didn't respond.
it. So
He
seems
didn't
like.
either. He didn't either.
Right,
Good
right.
for one is good for the other.
Right,
But what I was with me and I ain't say anything.
I ain't say you said that, it's good too. So if you gotta get out, Mr. Bradford gotta go too. If you gonna do your job.
He gave me a one. You know one. He gave me a warning and I didn't say anything. He came and asked this gentleman to be quiet. He refused to. He gave me a warning, man.
You gotta do both.
Oh, you gotta do both. I got a warning. I got a warning. I yield to the marshal warning. Now y'all gonna, you can't put the peas in the pot now. I yield to the warning. I yield the warning. I took the warning. And what argument I'm being moved on? Y'all might have to just arrest me. What am I being moved on? Or what, okay, I don't want to talk about, you asked me to be quiet and I did. Okay, now, this guy could be and talk to you, that's why you would put him back, he had a hush. Not just right, and I heard that. But the mayor can't have me to go and then the law is gonna move. Ask the mayor what's the ground.
Did you pick the phone up for him to call Reed? Will somebody pick the phone up for him?
If I read and arrest me, I'm gonna sue your ass, you think you in court. I'm gonna tell you right top, move me from the court and arrest me. It's just that simple. When I'm put on arrest, I will move. Only on the manner of being arrested. Once I'm arrested, Bass is gonna pay the cost. I ain't getting nothing.
Recess. 5 minutes.
I'm just waiting.
Recess.
We said 5 minutes. Let the officer come arrest you. Arrest the type of guy you have to arrest. Arrest me. I know my right.
We got the roll call, we back in action, or?
Yeah, roll call.
Roll call?
Miss Angela Tappan, District eight.
Here.
Mr. Henry Doty, District B.
Here.
Mr. James Green, District C. Mr. Derek Green, District D.
President.
Mr. Howard Locke, District E.
Make a motion to move forward. We have to do that, or we get, so we ask for Mr. Dunn Brown, if y'all want to counsel, Ms. Angela. Matt, come up, so he can go to the house and go to sleep, I mean, like, he said all night.
Sir.
Mr. Brown?
Everybody has it.
Delete.
Yeah.
I got Mr. Brown, Mr. Don Brown, Ms. K. King brought him to the city, to talk to me about the ghetto building. And, we went from north on Camille Street. Mr. Brown, could you tell them something about, like, what you gonna be doing over there in the building?
Yes, I retired from the Army in 1988. And I started doing government contracting. I had developed product before I retired. After I retired, I decided I'd come back here to Bastrop. I was born in Bastrop. And my goal was to build a couple of fiberglass boats a month to supplement my retirement fund and have the same level of income I did while I was on active duty. And I found a place in Marouge. I built some boats. And about a year after I retired, I got a call to come to Kendall Air Force Base. They had a problem. I had a product they wanted me to look at and see if I could submit a bid on. I was surprised to find out it was basically what I had proposed back when Iran seized the embassies and the U.S. military couldn't do anything about it. And they decided they wanted a way to operate should that similar thing occur later. And if they had to, they would seize an airfield somewhere. And they wanted to be able to quickly put it back in service to accomplish the mission of rescuing hostages or doing whatever the government decided to do. And 1990, I got the award, and I was retired in Bastrop, and I looked for a place to do the product in this area, and I found a place in Swartz. And I completed the contract in Swartz. It was a huge building, but nowhere near the one we're looking at here. After that, they called and wanted me to do another product. And it was through Eglin Air Force Base at Fort Walton Beach. So I loaded up my equipment and went to Eglin. I lived and worked in
You just tell them what you plan on doing in there, and
Well,
then we'll get to the
The
reasons.
main product is a large fiberglass panel, about a quarter inch thick. It has 8 flexible hinges and 3 rigid panels. They're 30 feet wide and 54 feet long. And I need space for a 32-foot mold and a 56-foot long mold to build the product. And I only do government contracting. I I don't entertain off the street, prospects want to know I can build this or build that. I'm a U.S. government contractor certified by the Defense Department. And you're welcome to look at the rapidrunwayrepair.com website.
Say it again.
Rapid Runway Repair. That's all one word.com.
Rapid.
Runway.
Yeah, Rapid, RAPID, runway like a airfield. And repair because it's used to repair craters and runways after they've been bombed, otherwise sabotaged, or natural causes. To be able to put runway back in quick, rapid time to launch and mainly to recover aircraft that were launched from that damaged runway before the incident. And the product is used to rapidly repair up to a 50-foot crater in 3 hours from the time they declared the attack over. And it's been in service since 1990.
You already got a contract right now?
I have an order for through the U.S. government for South Korea.
Okay.
We have sold to South Korea, Germany, United Arab Emirates, Taiwan, and a couple other places, but they were not major contracts.
Mr. Brown, how many people will you employ?
Pardon?
How many people will you employ?
It depends on the size of the contract. A production rate of 2 sets a day will require about 24 people. And they can build a panel a day.
You'll be operational 24/7 when you have those orders. You will be day and night, right?
If there should be an emergency, we're currently approved by the Louisiana Department of Air Quality to produce up to 100 sets of these panels a year.
Okay.
He also,
Without having a license.
yeah, he also, Councilman Tappan, he also will,
So, Mayor, so is the contract only for the end of this year?
we gonna do, what was it, we gonna do the year?
March 1st, December 31st, 2026.
Yeah, we do like that,
And hoping that he continues, we just might kind of do a test run.
It's reconvened. Hold on, let me get
He said it depends on the contract.
It depends, so the term, the initial first term is from March 1st of this year through December 31st. It reconvenes every year unless we give notice. He gives notice or we give notice.
and not getting a dollar that we never received.
Yeah.
So what he'll do is he'll be paying the mortgage, well, paying a price on it, and then he'll turn around and make modifications to the building, fixing it up as go, and we'll deduct it from his pay. So then we'll turn around and after June, we'll file something with the government, trying to get some help funds to fix the building up like God showed me.
Hold on, Mayor, you said what will be deducted?
Stuff he do, modifications he make, like he gonna pass through, stuff just to get him to work.
Okay.
And we're gonna keep doing that, and once again, and after June, or the contract in, we'll go try to get some government help on funding to fix the building. I already talked.
If you look at that in Article 12, which is on page 6, it talks about credits amounts expended. He shall be entitled to credit towards the buying and rent payments to be paid, or you go to July first, and then the December, you get credit for stuff, but never a point where we have to owe money back. So you don't get surplus credit. You can only get for what the rent is. So you can't come in and do, that would be something that had to go through accounts. We don't want to get in a negative situation.
I wish Mr. Rock was here.
Well, Councilman Locker already knew about it. He spoke with me. He have a lot going on right now, and he knew about it. We took a walk over there a couple of days, and he knew everything was going on.
And it gives us also the right to be able to come in and get grant money and make those make modifications.
He's happy.
And make at the same time if we need to make those. And the one thing that was covered in there is that I think everybody's aware of the condition of the building, is that this is an as-is lease. We're not guaranteeing that it's suitable for any business that he wishes to. He is getting this building as is. He himself knows the condition of it. It's his duty to inspect it beforehand, look at it. We're not guaranteeing anything other than you have this building, you can use it, that's it.
Mr. Brown, do you need a secretary? I can be a good secretary. Do you need a secretary?
And I can be your booker.
I make a motion that we, approve, entering into the lease, for the Ditto building on Camino.
Second.
Oh, I second.
All of those.
When will I start work?
I'll start working.
All right, thank you, sir, it passed.
Thank you.
Now, if anyone wants to have a question or information, I'll be glad to sit down with anybody and answer any questions. And I really appreciate it.
We thank you. I know the people in that area will be so happy. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Brown.
Okay.
So we go, this is the last one, I guess, we passed B on.
I guess we're done with the.
We were finished, we just got sidetracked.
I have a question.
Back on it, back on it.
I have a question about this occupational license. It says,
Decorum.
perfect land development. It says kind of business is a retail sale business, so I'm not understanding how this is classified under retail sales, and maybe somebody can explain it to me.
I don't know how they classified him, if that came from the sales tax commission. And this is what I was articulating. Why they have an occupational license, which is really to collect sales tax, the best I could derive is that the materials that are delivered there will be, let's say you go out and you buy stuff from Home Depot, it's delivered there, you pay the sales tax where the delivery point is. Okay, if you build it on. Same thing with the house. It's not where the builder's business is, but it's in Monroe, and it's building in Bastrop. You pay the sales tax for Bastrop, that project's been built there. I would assume that this account is designed to collect the sales tax on material being used to develop that property. Because there's going to be some sales tax related to that. I can tell you from previous solar projects, that was where some of the number comes from. Just as they were building a building, we would collect on the materials that are provided there. So I imagine this is that. I don't know why that's sales tax commission and the tax collector here as to what code they picked to put them underneath. But it's some way, shape, and form to go back to what Mr. James Green, Councilman James Green said. The the supplies that are being used for that, or where the sales tax comes from the purchase of the supplies, you ultimately pay the sales tax for the end destination of that product, not where the business is. And at some point, if there is no sales tax coming, then we need to reach out to the sales tax commission who collects sales tax and say, hey, you need to look at their books, because that happens even on home projects. You audit the books of a builder who is to build a house or a building or anything. You say, hey, you pay all of your sales tax here. And I've had developers who did not pay that, and they later got assessed by the sales tax commission, said, hey, we determined the supplies you used here, you didn't pay our sales tax. And so possibly that's what the occupational license is for, is to collect the sales tax on material being delivered to that job site.
Okay, sorry, question. So, on this, on phone, we have a person in the, we have the product service is solar farm.
I believe the product service should be that they're building a solar farm.
I thought earlier I heard something about data.
There is the Sassafras location. In order to track it, you go back, they weren't calling it Sassafras, they were calling it 850 East Jefferson.
So behind this building is gonna be a data center?
That was approved in 2022.
How? The building wasn't code for it, was on for it.
They have, so if you'll go in the folder, because I had to do a timeline of these.
I think also too, Mr. Tim, you can come up and ask your question about this building right here.
So let me take you through the history of that one. So I had to go through the timelines of these, especially with what was filed. So in April of 22, I'm gonna read off myself. I had to do it through. I had to backtrack. So April 12th, 2022, there was code enforcement had an email asking about the zoning. April the 22nd, Wadham, who owned it at the time, submitted their zoning app to, at that time, the code was, I believe, Mr. Chastity Kennedy. On April 22nd, 2022, 10:23, she says, hey, I have the zoning app. April the 25th, 2022, Wadham reaches out to Ms. Kennedy and says, hey, what's our next step? The next part of the email is May 16, 2022. Mr. McDuffie, who was in code, reached out to Wadham and said, hey, we have a conference call with planning at 6 p.m. May 16th at 2:57, 50 minutes later, Wadham says, hey, will you send me the link? May 17th, this is where I gained that the data center was done. Mr. McDuffie says to them, hey, sorry I didn't make the call. The conference call didn't go through last night, but this is the direct quote. I was able to get the board to okay everything and the containers, the fix that you said that you want to put behind the main building. Everything was approved. So
let me ask you a question. So, it was, being this one district, so it was brought to my attention that they can, you correct me if I'm wrong, that's why I wanted to ask.
I never saw anything about data center until that email string was found.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, that's why I said correct me. So I was informed that they were able to put up the solar panel, but they was not able to use their building for that.
Correct, and I believe, and I don't, that is because they don't have, in order to hook that into hook that up and make it functional, to get their occupancy certificate to use it, not the occupational license, the occupancy certificate to use it, they have to use building code and fire code. In order to do that, they have to hook into the electrical grid to hook it up. When you're dealing with a solar farm, their state now requires to have a specific solar electrical person do that. They had never had that person do that. I don't know if they have ever had.
So again, I asked. This property factory is supposed to be a data center. If so, if they gonna occupy this building factory, because again, I was told that the building wasn't allowed to be operated.
It's not because they can't get an occupancy certificate to use that building because they didn't have somebody hook it up. It was a solar electrical person.
Do you got to come back before the council before?
Because I'm confused because the reason I'm asking is Earlier, I heard him speak about Edison, but then he said it's gonna be here at this location. But I was informed that they was able to put solar panels up, but not use occupied building for anything. And so I'm asking you, is that true or not?
That is true because they don't have an occupancy certificate to use it.
So they would have to come back before the council to get it.
And occupancy certificates are issued by the fire marshal.
So not on fire chief.
By the fire chief, yes, in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the, so there's three things. There's occupational license to transact business. There's zoning that says, hey, you can do this on some piece of property. Then occupancy certificate says you can use that building for that.
Where are we with this situation?
This situation, they lack an occupancy certificate on that building because they don't have the person to hook up the electric.
So what I'm saying is it won't be no transference where you want all of a sudden it's like, oh, they just got to have something good.
If I don't know what they have inside of it. I've never been inside it. If they get an occupancy certificate and they have somebody to do that, once it's issued, yeah, I mean, it would be noticed that, hey, they've got their occupancy certificate. The only standard standing in the way is the state standards on getting that occupancy certificate. They have to meet the state building code.
I have just a point I want to
But
make.
in 2022, they voted to allow that as a data center. So the planning zone did.
Because I see the name on this tax notice and it says Green Data Center LLC. So this is another name.
Here's
all on purple land ago.
So I'll bring you forward on that. That's why I referenced that 22 email string. The only way I was able to piece this together was the 22 email string that's in there. That company that owned the land at the time was called Watt. It's WATTUN, okay? They sold that piece of property and that to Perfect Land Development in 23. Perfect Land Development came back to planning and zoning. In February 23, they made an application for zoning again as Perfect Land Development as the Green Data Center, which is that one that you're referencing that's happening. That application, that should be February 24th of 23, I believe. It has a date on there. That application, they voted in March of 23, planning and zoning voted to approve that, long before any of this.
Point of information, sir.
Yes.
During the last administration, Gary Cloud administration, and I remember this vividly, and Mr. Williams probably going to attest to this. When they started off, they was going to make that a data center. If you go back and look at our meeting when I first came on, I started asking about that data center. Everybody didn't know what I was talking about. Nobody knew what I was talking about, but all of a sudden, it's brought back up, it's going to be a data center. Go back and look at the tapes. I was asking because I remember when I was in the administration that was going to be a data center, but the light bill or something was going to be astronomical, and that was a warehouse, and it was going to cost quite a bit of money to transform it over into a data center because it was not originally designed to be a data center. It was something like that, but Mr. Williams probably knows more about what I'm talking about. He's back there smiling. So I'm kind of puzzled because they kind of aborted that. But I'm telling you, just coming on, Mr. Jones, I'm telling you, you can't tell me because I was part of the administration. They kind of aborted that because the energy cost was going to be astronomical. And I think Mr. Williams or somebody fired. That was not designed to be a data center, and then you have to convert it over to a data center. So I don't know how that worked, but you saying about the grid, plugging it to the grid, well, we all know that people are not building no solar panels with the assumption they're not going to be able to hook it to the grid. Somebody's going to hook them into the grid. So that's not going to stop them. If they got a project manager to let them put $20 million worth of stuff over there and they got a clue as to how they're gonna hook it into the grid, I need to sell them some land. But the point of the matter is, let me my train of thought. And the reason it's coming back up, it's kind of funny and comical to me, especially when you know the origin, how it all originated. So now we done said that that's a brown site. So you can't dig to get in a brown site. So now they're gonna have trouble putting a data center on there because read my lips, we're not voting for it. And plus, it's a brown site. So how you gonna build something on a brown site? They said, we got another alternative. We already done applied for this to be the data center. So let's just go back to 2022. Amazing. You're going back to when Miss Kennedy was up there. Now you're bringing all this back up. I just want you to know, I don't have sunshades on. I got 20/20 vision, and I can see a mile away. But my point is, don't fall victim to believing that that's going to be a sticking point, an obstacle of getting into the grid. Because guess what? If you got to get a certified person to look you into that grid, what you got to get on that side? So you mean to tell me a company going to build something on this side, not knowing whether you're going to be able to look into the grid, but we're going to turn around and build some on another mill site. Now come on now. Everybody got a brain. Let's try to use it. They say mine's a terrible thing to waste. Let's try to use it. So that's not going to be a sticking point as to hooking into it. It might cost them a lot of money because you don't have but a few people in the United States that's certified to do it. But this company got a lot of money. And Mr. Khan think he got problems. You think that would be a sticking point for them not being able to hook into the grid? I don't see it. Now back to these occupational licenses. And based on your assessment, which I don't concur, but you're attorney, you're not gonna get into it like that. So you said that we have to give occupational license. I want to go back to the old administration. I want to apologize to Ms. Betty Alfredolli because we struck all kind of ways for occupational license, not knowing based on your assessment that we had to give it to them. So I want to apologize, just like I want to apologize to the mayor for signing off on it. If the legal attorney said we had to give it to him, but we didn't know this when we was ostracizing the previous mayor. Because I was about to get this mayor right here also, because you know one thing about honesty is all you got. And when people see that you playing both sides of the fence, and you're gonna show favoritism to one mayor, not the other, then you lose respect in the community. Now, what I'm saying is this date on this thing is February 4th, 2026. And that's what I told you. I said, if it happens after she left, it falls under this administration. Period. But if you was forced to do it, I can understand it based on this assessment. Now I'm gonna have to get a legal opinion because if you got to give somebody an occupational license, if you can, why give it to them if everybody just operate what they want to operate?
How, if you don't catch it and they operate, they have business going, how do we stop it?
Zoning, your zoning code, because they're not zoned in the proper area.
But once they get the license, move by they go operate the business.
But they're not authorized to do it on that land. They still have to ensure that they're transacting business on the right area. And that's where your zoning comes in. That's where your whole process in zoning comes in, where you can bring them up, you can bring them to the court, you can get an injunction against them doing that activity on that land. Yes, it is a very kind act to tell somebody, hey, you're about to get a business in a place you can't get a business. But underneath the occupational license code, the only thing they gotta do.
So David, let me go slow with this. Somebody can come up and say, just say, cross it. I want to put a club right next door to Mr. Bradford Church. I'm gonna come up and get the occupational license, right? So I couldn't get occupational license. They can't deny it. I got a club right on the side of Mr. Bradford Church. JGE Lounge. Now, you look at an occupational license and I go fix it all up. And then I get ready to operate, here comes code enforcement. Oh, you can't do that. I'm gonna sue the city because why would you let me spend my money and tell me that I'm not zoned for this? That's why you have zoning. You must go through zoning first.
Oh, it's a great courtesy to tell people that, but underneath the law, they're entitled to get an an occupational
So I get an occupation license, this don't say that, but I'm not operational. But occupation license means something, hey, man, I got an occupation license, but I can't operate.
Occupational license just means you have a sales tax account with your registered business here. That's all it means.
So if I get a plug over next to Mr. Bradford, as long as I'm not doing local business, I got a sales tax, can I do online business?
Depends on if it's zoned for that activity.
Well, based on my assessment, when it comes to internet business, you don't really have to be zoned.
Most internet business don't get occupational license.
Well, but I'm just using an example now. If I got an occupational license, that means you say I can operate in the state of Louisiana. That's what you, based on your own section, right?
It says you're registered with the city, you've got a sales tax account,
And so so long as I'm not really there, I can really just do business as is online. I'm just asking.
As far as online, depends on what the zone is, what you can do activity wise for your zone.
Okay, so I guess another question. So if I get liquor license from the state, because state provide liquor license.
State provides one, city provides one, and the parish provides one.
Okay.
Now, when you go to get a liquor license, you can't get that liquor license if it's within X amount, but that would prohibit you. So you could have an occupational license and not be able to get your liquor license.
Okay, I just wanted.
It was a very, look,
I just wanted some clarity. I just wanted.
what was being done was very kind because you prevented people from wasting money. And this is the one time that somebody said, I'm spending on this, and that's why it had to be that way.
Did they give us anything legal, so they was challenging this?
Yes, that's, I believe, their full intent was that they did not want to have to file.
No, hold on, sir. I'm talking about based on, we said we didn't want occupation license. This was done February 4th. They just got this, and we just got this injunction today. I'm saying, you said that nobody objected. Nobody ever pushed back. So, and you saying that they pushed back. I'm saying, yeah, you just said that they legally pushed back. I'm saying, we have a letter.
They didn't legally push back. Whenever I'm the city attorney, when asked what the legal standard is for it, I gave what the legal standard is for an occupational license. There was nothing to stand in the way of them getting an occupational license.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Yes, they were pushing us to get the occupational license. They made numerous requests to get theirs signed because the application has been there since March 14th, 25.
The property that's on College Lane, was it done by a special permit?
The zoning was by special use permit in January 27th, 25.
Right, so the special permit, so I'm saying, was the special permit was done for who?
It was, so special use permit was done for the project name of Sunbeam with the.
This was the special.
The application underneath it has the parking land.
It was outright. Why would you need a special use permit?
It wasn't outright that time.
Oh, wait. Find the papers. You just, somewhere we just said it was outright.
No, the outright one was the 23 green.
So tell me how it works, though, didn't it? Like, so being that the special.
Hold up, Mr. Fraser. Now, code enforcement, Ms. Debbie Rogers stood right there and said it was outright. He was sitting right there. She said, hold it, she said, we didn't, I didn't sign off on it, it was outright. So wait, hold, let me finish, sir. So what I'm getting at, we need to put people on the oath, because people are lying. That's just why I'm not accusing you. I'm saying, based on the records, they said that it's outright. And see, that's why we need to go to court, because this don't make sense. She said it's out. All of a sudden, everybody is just, it's just fluent. It's like whatever is convenient, that's where we're going with this.
Your minutes and the agenda that was marked on March.
So I ask you a question. So you saying she misspoke?
Yeah. If she told you about right.
No, she didn't tell me. She told us brother.
She said that the January.
You wasn't talking directly.
January something special use was the minutes reflected, it was voted on, the agenda that they marked on reflected.
And remember, we talking about minutes.
Well, the agenda they marked on reflected was, and the.
So we can't trust what the person that's over the zone tell us. Who we supposed to trust?
She stood right here and said when she read us the ride act, when she read the letter before that, she said that it was done
I don't.
outright. And then she turned around and said, it was done outright, we didn't have nothing to do with that, so if it was done outright, but you know what, it's two things at play here. Now, you know, the reason they really went over there to get it done, because the land, it was a deviation variance they needed, right, something like that, you know more about that than I do, you the attorney.
Yeah, they wanted a special use permit.
Because why?
Because
Under who?
Let me
they
explain.
want, so the first January one, they were under the Sunbeam project. They wanted a special use permit, and that's what the public hearing was for. In the minutes and the agenda that is marked that we have indicates they voted by a vote to approve that. And it has a record of
Oh,
what.
I want you to explain that to the council so they'll have a clear understanding of what you're saying about the land variation. Because if they vote on the land variation, where is the vote on the permit? See, it's two different things.
No, they voted on the special use permit, that one.
What was the special use permit for?
Special use permit was for the solar farm.
What about the land?
What name?
It was the Sunbeam was the project, the name that night, and the company, the owner of it was the Perfect Land
But
Development.
they don't have it on the application. They don't have to be, that's what you're saying?
What?
The Perfect Land Development.
They have it down there and they have it as the owner is Mr. Khan's company.
Well, how did they get land variation permit, Mr. Jones?
Which land variation permit?
That you and I talked about?
They
Okay.
had, so initially, they had told us that they had, when they first came up, this all coming about, there was a lot of stuff but no paperwork. As you remember,
So we don't have no paperwork on land, on that
there's
part.
nothing, they always told us that they had gotten a variation. It wasn't a variation, it wasn't a variance.
I just want people to don't think I'm making it up.
Initially, we were told it was a variance. It was actually not. When you go back and look at the record, all they have is a special use permit. I don't know if they told us wrong or if they just didn't use the right language, the right term, but it was, the record reflects that they applied for a special use permit. That's all I have. That's the record. They applied for a special use permit using the solar farm.
Then, I guess I'm still trying to just clarity, because we gave them the fish permit on the Sunbeam, because that's when you said they're going back to, right?
That's the project name they have.
So how they operate under the Perfect Land?
Perfect Land Development is the owner of,
I get it, but the special use was on Sunbeam.
that's the project name. If you look at the top, that's the project name. That's not the owner.
I'm like Mr. Bradford. We see it outside the council.
So that's
We need to make a motion to get this out. This is my first time hearing Perfect Land Development. It was Golden Bean, then it was Sunbeam.
that's the project name. And that's exactly, that's the project name. That's
Let's
the
take the,
Okay, I'll make that motion that we, dismiss you go to executive session.
all in favor?
Aye.
The whole thing.
I put in a section to return.
Right. Okay, so roll call, please.
Mrs. Angela Chapman,
Here,
District A.
Here.
Mr. Henry Doty, District B. And Mr. James Green, District C.
Here.
Mr. Derek Green, District D.
Here.
Mr. Howard Locke, District E. All four persons, four.
Call for
I mean,
the
three, sorry.
executive session to end the meeting.
Call for a vote to exit the executive session and enter into the meeting.
I make a motion that we,
I'll second the motion.
exit.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Anybody opposed?
All right, we're back.
Mr. Bradford?
Thank you. Charles Bradford, 1320 South Washington Street here in Bastrop. I want to make my comment on, I think it's
Four, A, B.
four B, amen? I like the, I saw notice in the calendar for the closed section, Mr. Devlin, I guess, received a petition to, for injunction. And with, at the order of the petition, have not been signed by any judge. That's not the copy you all can serve. I mean, they're gonna serve you with a copy of the injunction. Each person should have a signature of the judge. Now, if the attorney have a written copy, the attorney been served, you have not been served. And the attorney should, whoever served you all should have gave you a signed copy of the order asking you to not stop your action. Based on that, I, as a citizen, not an attorney, but I can almost sure that it should have a signed signature of the judge. It's been filed, sure enough. They got a clerk filing them here, but it don't, you look at the page, Nate, from the last page of the service, it have not been signed by any judge. In other words, if you all would like to go ahead and take your action on your agenda tonight, you do something. I don't think you be violating any order of the court because the court hadn't signed. And unless one of these attorneys can show you something different, if not, why would you sign? Why not you serve with a signature of the judge? And if that's so, you all have the right. I don't know what you did in the closed section, but you still have the right to take action on your agenda item there. And I also noticed these names that appear on these, let's say, permit application documents, they have 4 to 5 different names. 5 different names. And believe me, all 5 of those names is affiliated with Perfect Land Development, which is a LLC corporation here in the state of Louisiana. Now, all those other names that appear here, Bean, Solar, Banner, Bean, you have them, okay? They are not filed in the Secretary of State office as a trade name. They do not, they are not filed here in the Mohawks Parish DBA office and conducting business in Mohawks Parish. If they're conducting business without a DBA doing business as, they're in violation of the parish permit law.
True.
Now, with that said, I don't know about attorney. You can ask your attorney. I can't do you have a signed copy? Or was the marriage you got? Anybody have a signed order of this restraining order? Have it been signed? Anybody have one?
He have one.
Well, he been served. You have not.
The city served the attorney.
But I know who the served is, John. You don't have to educate me. But you did not serve each individual with a signed copy.
They don't have to, they serve the city, it wasn't the council, the council members weren't.
Each individual, the name should appear, a councilman should be served, Mr. John. This is a legal proceeding. Their name should appear as Mayor Mo as well as you councilmen. Okay? Now, I don't know who prepared, hold on, John, I'm dropping now. I don't know who prepared your paperwork. I don't, I'm gonna sit down my time, I'm gonna, I don't know who served your paperwork, and I hope ain't nobody served 4 force no judge then. Now, if I'm sitting in my council seat, I'll go ahead and take action, because I haven't been served. Unless you got a signed copy now. You got, huh? Okay, but it might have been, don't get me wrong, they have, but they haven't been served properly. Because they don't have a signed copy. Mr. Green, have your copy been signed? By any judge? Okay, you haven't been legally served yet. You haven't been legally served. They have. They've been served. You all are taking that, not them. Again, I'm gonna put this out. I truly believe that you all should fire this attorney, Devin Jones, and get your outside counsel to proceed with this. It's gonna go on and on and on and on.
There's already been a hearing that's been served, that judge issued an order.
Oh, well, they ain't been served. That's your legal opinion. And you ain't got much legal opinion. I'm sitting down, my time.
Yeah, one case.
I can't, I'm talking to you, my time out.
Let's check the last time you won a case. You had one.
Oh, hey, you better check time, Bill, but you ain't say, you go, Joanne. Not just more you have, them 5 minutes.
Y'all let him say something, he can't say nothing. That's weird.
Okay.
He could say insulting things, but he can't say
He was
nothing.
gonna stand, his time was up.
That's understandable, but being rude is no need.
Yeah, you should talk to Mr. Bradley about that.
Thank the council for the time.
Hey, this week is city land?
No, you can't.
Yeah, we need to make a motion.
Meeting adjourned.
It's a meeting, you're not, no, you don't have to make motions.
We're gonna do it like we usually do. We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's a meeting day, no, Robert.
I make a motion to.
I second.
If you did have a set meeting day, you could do that and make a motion.
Man, it is 9:34. Tomorrow, I've been working on 16 hours.
I know, it's really one thing, not gonna sit there and tell them I'm a piece of shit.